And I rejoice that the Vineyard affirms reconciling communities as one of its values. That's why I've written this paper. That's why I'm here. However, as you know, it's much easier for us to confess this as a value on our websites and brochures than it is to embody it in practice. In reality, we're often peace breakers. Some of us are by nature peace fakers, and yet we are a community that longs to be peacemakers. So what does it mean biblically and practically for the church to be a reconciling community? First, a word about methodology. I will examine the terms and verses related to the concept of reconciliation and not just do isolated word studies. For example, reconciliation is an important theme in the New Testament, but the word reconciliation and its cognates occurs only about 8 times. By contrast, the word peace and its cognates occur about 100 times. So the command to love your enemy also has no lexical connection with either of these terms, but has a profound connection with the concept of reconciliation. Because of the strong semantic overlap between the terms reconciliation and peace, and because the greater frequency of the term peace, I'll often use the terms interchangeably, and I tend to favor peace or peacemaking. Next, I'd like to define my terms. What do I mean by peacemaking, and how does it relate to reconciling communities? First, peacemaking is not peacekeeping. Some of you have grown up in families that are very good at trying to not engage in conflict and sweep things under the carpet. This also happens between alienated ethnic groups and countries. Peacekeepers separate two parties in order to avoid conflict and thereby keep the peace. But peacekeeping is not peacemaking. It is peace faking. True peace is not just the absence of conflict, but the presence of harmony. Because of this, peacemakers are sometimes peace disturbers. The Prince of Peace certainly disturbed the peace of the Pharisees more than once. And Martin Luther King Jr. had to do a lot of peace disturbing in the peacemaking effort we call the Civil Rights Movement. Second, peacemaking is not peace achieving. We're commanded to pursue peace and blessed to be peacemakers, but this doesn't mean that we'll be successful in our efforts. Paul the Apostle says it so well in Romans 12:18. If it is possible, so far as it depends on you, be at peace with everyone. First, notice the condition in Romans 12:18. If it is possible. In other words, Paul's a realist. He was quite the peacemaker, and he caused a little conflict as well in his time. So he knows that peace makers aren't always peace achievers. He acknowledges it takes 2 people to make peace, and so it's not always possible. Peacemaking, as I define it, is resolving conflict and restoring harmony. It has 2 components. Through repentance, forgiveness, and restitution, we resolve our conflicts. Through trust-building actions and practical investments of love, we restore harmony. Thus, in most cases, peacemaking and reconciliation are synonymous. However, there's important differences between the two that I'd like to point out. Reconciliation involves 2 parties overcoming their alienation and restoring their broken relationship. By contrast, peacemaking can be carried out by only one party. Peacemakers can make the first steps towards reconciliation with others,